Sometimes the most powerful things come in really small packages. Hidden inside one of the Bible's longest books is one of its shortest, most potent songs. We're talking just 6 verses, tucked away in Isaiah, but wow, it is an absolute powerhouse. A concentrated hymn of praise that acts as this incredible finale. So, what makes this ancient song so special?
Think about it. This was written in a world of clashing empires and just intense national anxiety. So how on earth can a song this old connect with our modern lives? Well, that's exactly the question we're going to dig into together as we break down this amazing hymn verse by verse.
So to really get it, we've got to go back in time, because to understand a song of hope this powerful, you first have to understand the crisis that it came from. For this story, context is absolutely everything.
Okay, so picture this. We're in the 8th century BCE. The kingdom of Judah, it's basically caught in this geopolitical vice grip. King Ahaz is staring down the superpower of his day, the absolutely ruthless Assyrian Empire. So this isn't just some abstract poetry. Isaiah is delivering these prophecies, messages of both total destruction and future deliverance, into a world that is just gripped by fear.
The best way to think about it is like a piece of music. The chapters right before this one, they're full of tension, these dark, dramatic warnings. And then you hit chapter 12, and it's the crescendo. It's that huge, triumphant, resolving chord that makes sense of all the conflict that came before it. It really is the victory song at the end of a long, hard struggle. And that crescendo, that musical high point, it's made so much more powerful by what comes directly before it. So let's look a little closer at that wild shift from judgment to joy, because the emotional whiplash that happens right before this song is what gives it all its power. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. The chapters before are so heavy. They're filled with the Assyrian threat, warnings of judgment. The whole vibe is just fear. But then, bam, everything changes. The tone completely flips to this vision of a new, perfect kingdom, a messianic figure, and God's comfort, all building up to this incredible song of praise. It's a pivot from anger to comfort. So, how is this new hope even expressed? Well, what's so fascinating is that it doesn't kick off with some big national parade. Nope. It starts with something much more intimate, a deeply personal response, shifting the camera lens, if you will, from the nation's story to one person's testimony. The song opens with this incredible line. And notice this, it doesn't pretend the bad stuff didn't happen. It looks it right in the eye. You were angry with me. But it celebrates that something new has taken its place, comfort. It's just this raw, honest declaration that, hey, justice has been served, and now there's room for relationship and healing. Now, let's zoom in on a single Hebrew word that is right at the heart of this chapter. It's Yeshua. It means salvation, deliverance, safety, and it shows up 3 times in just a few verses. And here's the kicker, the connection that echoes down through history. It is the very root of the name Jesus, or Yeshua, which literally means Yahweh saves. And this core idea of salvation, of Yeshua, it then just blossoms into one of the most powerful metaphors in the whole song. It connects divine deliverance to the one thing that is absolutely essential for life itself, water. So, what does it even mean to draw water from the wells of salvation? See, this isn't about being saved just one time and that's it. It's about having access to an inexhaustible spring, a constantly available source of divine grace and life and strength that you can go back to again and again, and you do it with joy. For centuries, people have looked at this and seen this beautiful, multi-layered picture of what salvation really brings. It's the spiritual refreshment of the gospel, it's the sheer abundance of the coming messianic age, and, well, it's a pretty clear foreshadowing of the living water that Jesus himself promised, a grace that's freely available to anyone who's thirsty. And that idea, that grace is freely available, that's the perfect bridge to the second half of the song. Because this is where we see that super personal experience of salvation turn outward, transforming from an individual feeling into a global mission. So the language changes, right? It goes from I will praise to you will say, which is a call to the whole community. So what does that shift from I to we really mean for the people who've experienced this comfort? Well, the answer is a super clear 4-part call to action. Gratitude isn't supposed to be passive. It's meant to be proclaimed. The song lays out this simple, powerful process.
First, give thanks, then call on his name, then tell everyone, all the nations, what he's done, and finally declare that his name is exalted above everything. So what's the big takeaway here? The message is just unmistakable. This profound experience of comfort and salvation, it was never meant to be a secret. It demands to be shared. It's a personal experience that actually creates a public, even a global responsibility. And after that global call to action, the song brings it all right back home, to Zion, with the ultimate reason for all this joy. And it's not just about what God has done, but about who he is. The reason to shout and sing isn't just some past event, it's a present reality. The Holy One of Israel isn't distant and angry anymore. He is great, and he is among you. It's this powerful celebration of God's immediate presence. Okay, so we've taken this ancient hymn apart. Now let's zoom back out and answer that question we started with. In a world that looks so different from Isaiah's, why does a 2,800-year-old song still matter? Because in just 6 short verses, this chapter brilliantly sums up some of the biggest ideas in the entire Bible. It shows us that salvation starts as a divine gift, which then leads to this natural response of joy. And that joy, in turn, points us toward a greater freedom, a new kind of exodus that's all rooted in the ultimate hope of God actually being present with us. At the end of the day, the enduring power of Isaiah 12 is that it maps out a journey that is just universally human. It's that move from fear to trust, from anxiety about the future to adoration for the help we have right now. And it's the journey from a lonely individual struggle into a shared communal celebration.